If you're an international student just coming to Canada, why would you get a credit card? Especially with the fact that you have money that you've deposited in your debit card. Well, it actually depends. If you're an international student that is planning on staying in Canada after graduation, then you do want to have a credit card. But if you're not planning on staying here, then really you do not need a credit card. Having a credit card in Canada will secure your chance of building a credit history and eventually building a prospect for a brighter financial future here. But really, to build a credit history, you first have to understand the concept of credit and really the credit card system here in Canada. So what is credit? Credit in its simplest form is pretty much just borrowing money with the promise to pay. And that borrowing money can be in form of credit card, a car loan, a line of credit, a business loan, a house loan, and it can also be using service with the promise to pay. So such as your bills, like phone bills, internet bills, and your school fees as well. And so your credit eventually with time forms what's called a credit history. And so your credit history is really the collection of information from your lenders on how much you've either paid or not paid or are paying the money that you borrowed or the service that you're using. Again, some services. And that credit history eventually becomes a score, and that's called a credit score. So a credit score really is just an allotted number or a score that is accounted to you based on your credit history. So that collection of information that lenders have on you. And so that score determines whether you're going to qualify for more loan in the future, or if you're going to have better interest rates, or if you're going to have increases in your credit card and so forth. So that score is really, really important. And let me just give you an example of this. When I was an international student here, the first thing I did when coming to Canada was I opened up a credit card, and it was a $500 credit card because again, no bank was going to take a chance on me. So they just gave me a $500 credit card, and they indicated it was to build your credit. I didn't really understand what the credit system was, what a credit history or score was. So I didn't really pay attention to how I was using the card. And eventually I was able to analyze my credit score when I started finding more information about what credit really is and the credit system in Canada. And I had a very low score. And the reason was because I was not paying my bills on time, and I was not paying my credit card and paying that minimum monthly payment that was needed in order to keep my credit and my credit history and score. And so I was not able to increase my credit for the longest time as an international student due to the fact that I had a really, really low score. Over time, my credit score increased, and that was really because I started paying a lot of attention to my credit history and making those minimum payments and making more than just the minimum payments on my account. I was able to increase my credit limit to $4,000 from $500, and that was while I was not a permanent resident and Canadian citizen here. But when I became a permanent resident in Canada, I was able to access way more money in loans, and I was able to also access amazing interest rates. For instance, one of my first cars, my interest rate was 0.9%. If you guys don't understand what that means, that's almost a 0% interest rate. That is an amazing interest rate you want on a car, especially a new car, right? And so for Canadian citizens and permanent residents in Canada, most of them can start building credit when they take out what's called a student loan. And that's usually a student loan from the government. And that usually requires no credit history. So once you're 16, 17, 18, 19, and you're going to post-secondary institutions, you can actually access huge amounts of money in student loans. And so they are able to build credit and a better history just because they have a lot more utilization of loan payments, and they're able to build credit much faster. However, as an international student, you are at a disadvantage. Because you have no ties to living here like a Canadian citizen or permanent resident, most lenders would not like to take a chance on you. Hence, they will offer you a $500 credit card because that's what they can part with and allow you to build credit while charging you interest rates, of course. And since you cannot access student loans here, again due to the fact that you have no ties to Canada, you are at a disadvantage of really building your credit history at a much faster rate. So that's why a credit card is crucial, especially for international students who want to stay here after their education. You can ensure that with your credit card that you are trustworthy to banks, and they can put their trust in you by increasing your credit over time while building history, just to make sure that you pay down the minimum monthly payment. But more importantly, you can learn how to avoid paying interest rates and not let banks profit off you. If you want to learn how to avoid interest payments and use a credit card securely to your own benefit, join my waitlist for my workshop on how to prevent thousands of dollars in mistakes while studying in Canada. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe down below and like my video as well. I will be posting more videos for my credit card for international students series. Thank you and see you next time.